That's really weird. My video went back to the beginning, but it stopped playing. Anyway, hello, how are you? Hey, crew. So today we're talking about content. If your content is not creating any conversations, what you need to do about that. I find through talking to a lot of people that are building a business online on social media that one of the biggest obstacles that people face is content. What do I post? Or I don't know what to post. Or you do post and you hear crickets. So, content is one of the key things that you want to get on top of. You want to trial different types of content and you really want to nail down like a content plan so that you're not just winging it and you're not just posting and praying. What most people in the industry do is just post something and hope that they're going to get some kind of reaction, and they're doing it very last minute. And that can absolutely get exhausting. So, we don't want to just sort of post and pray and just hope that our content works. We really want to have some strategy behind what content we put out there to give us the opportunity to get maximum engagement. Obviously, talk to the right people and create those conversations. Your primary goal with your content, as I've said in the description, is to create conversations. In this industry of social selling and building online, network marketing is to prompt as many conversations as you can. Because your next customer, your next teammate, whatever you call them in your company, comes generally from a conversation. Unless you're a really big influencer and you've got really amazing automated systems that can take people through a funnel, it's very unusual for most people in the industry to get those automated sales. Generally, you're having some sort of conversation with somebody to get the sale, and you're connecting with the person. It is obviously different in different industries. People just go on websites and they buy. But in our industry, more often than not, people are having a conversation with you before they buy or before they join your team. Is that fair to say? If that's fair, put the word fair in the comments to say that most people that are going to buy something from you or join your team are going to have a conversation with you first. I'm sure that's probably, for the majority of you, sort of how it is. By the way, if anyone's watching live, let me know. Say hello. Hello, Debbie. Good to see you here. We've got Doreen. Fair, you've got written there as well. So, yeah, give us a shout out if you're watching live. And just if you are in my coaching community, we just finished live Q&A Zoom call 1 for March. I've got the other one tonight for the people in the UK. And we had a really, really good conversation about all things social media. So make sure you catch the recording of that if you're in my coaching community. Okay. And just one more thing before I go into this. I've only got one spot left in my VIP mentorship program, which starts on the 1st of April. So if you are serious about upping your game, and you want that direction and mentorship, and you need the plan, you need the guidance, you need the DMO, you need the kick up, you need that focused attention and somebody to guide you for the next 6 months to up your results, then reach out to me and let's have a conversation about it. Okay. So what I would recommend that you do regarding your content is reevaluate it. Like, go back and just scroll past, back your own content and look at it with a fresh set of eyes and evaluate 2 things. One, is it your audience? Like, are you putting the right content in front of the right people? For some of you, if it's majority family and friends and you have a really small network, then you need to work hard to get new eyeballs on your social media. So for somebody like that, when you look at your number and you've only got a few hundred people there, or you've got under 1,000 kind of people there, or even if you've got 1,000 or so, you're not getting much love from the post that you put out. So 2 things that you need to do. You need to evaluate your audience. Have you got enough people there outside, probably your family and friends? And if not, it doesn't matter how good your content is. If you're not getting the right eyeballs on your content, you're always going to be at a disadvantage. Does that make sense? So as a priority, what I would be working on, if that was me, as part of my DMO, my daily method of operation, is I would be strategically friend requesting and communicating and connecting with people that are like-minded to me to build up my network outside my family and friends. If you don't actively do that, how are you going to get much traction on social media? If you're not actively building your network and getting outside your family and friends, how are you going to get much different result from whatever your content you put out there? Like, I hope this is making sense to you. Like, you can have the most amazing content, but if you don't have an audience for that content, or you're not growing that audience outside your family and friends who aren't supporting you anyway, then it doesn't matter what you put out there. No one's going to see it. Okay. Or the right people aren't going to see it. So for some of you, you need to, part of your daily method of operation is to actively friend request people outside your network and do it every day. Just do 5 a day, do 3 a day, do 2 a day. If you did 2 a day over a week, then, that's 14, every week. If you did that every week for a month, like, think of how fast you could actually build up your network. Okay. So audience is something that some of you actually need to look at. If you've got very few people and you're building on a personal profile and you've got very few people there, then you want to actively be building your network. Same with Instagram. If you're building on Instagram, building up your following over there. Okay. Ask people to follow you on Instagram, like follow me for more tips on, whatever. You have to build your network. Some of you, your network is way too small, and that is hindering you. Okay, so actively building your network is one of the 2 main things. Okay, the second thing you need to look at is your own content. So go back and scroll your own feed and look back through your content and independently look at it, from fresh eyes, thinking, what's in it for them? What's in it for your audience? Whatever your post is, what's in it for them? Do you know all anyone ever cares about or what captures their attention is when it's something in it for them? That's all ever anyone's thinking about. What's in it for me? Now, an entertaining post could put a smile on somebody's face. That's still something in it for them, like it entertained them. Or maybe they learned something from you. So that's something in it for them. They've learned something from you. Or they've learned something about you and they've found that you're interesting. All anybody thinks about is what's in it for me. So reevaluate your own posts and look at it with a set of eyes. What's in it for them? What's in it for your audience with the content that you're putting out there? So if there's nothing really in it for your audience, then maybe your content is falling a little bit flat. When it comes to engagement and conversations, have a look at your content and think, why would somebody engage with this? How would this piece of content create a conversation? Have you even ever asked in any of your, posts a question of some sort? Are you even asking for engagement? Are you doing an engagement post once a week? Are you asking for people to have a conversation with you in any way? Some of you aren't. It's a one-way street with your content. It's way too much me, 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 me. So if you've got a lot of me, me, me posts and you think about that question that I just gave you, what's in it for them? Or if I looked at your content and went, well, what's in that for me? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I learned something. Or, I have an opinion on that. I want to share my point of view on that. Like, you've got your content, your sole purpose with your content is to draw out conversations. Now, here's also what you want to pay attention to. It doesn't matter how you start the conversation. So don't think business all the time. How are you creating conversations just in general? Have you got any content on your social media that's just prompting something for a conversation that is not business related, but it starts a conversation? So some of you need to take the pressure off with thinking, how do I post to get a customer? How do I post to get a business partner? And post to create a conversation of something that's important to you. Okay, you following along? Your next customer and your next business partner are coming from a conversation of some sort. It doesn't matter how you start that conversation. So naturally, you want curiosity-based content that's going to create a conversation about a product of yours or your business opportunity. Absolutely, you're going to do those posts. But if those posts, are you doing too many of them? You might need to interject with some posts that are just going to create a conversation around something. What can you create a conversation around? What can you ask people's opinion on? What can you give a little bit of value around and then ask a question regarding somebody's point of view? Or have they got some tips around something? Start a conversation and then get into Messenger. I'll say it again. Your next customer and your next business partner is going to come from a conversation, but it doesn't matter how that conversation gets started. Now, the purpose of your content on social media is to start a conversation. So again, I'll go back to evaluate your content. What's in it for them to even want to respond? There's always going to be eyeballs. So we're all going to always have content that people don't respond to, especially if you might have a strategic business post or a strategic product post and you don't get much reaction. Don't overthink it. There's always someone watching. But if your content isn't creating enough conversations of any sort, let alone business, you also, so I guess there's 3 things to evaluate here. You need to go and create more conversations. You can't sit back on social media, post all the time, get no conversations going from your social media and think that you're going to build your business successfully. So until you learn to create better content, more strategic content, or content that creates conversations, you need to go and create more conversations, but not getting into people's inbox saying you should look at my thing or you should look at my stuff or I think you should try one of my products. You implement what I call ICQ, which is intention, complement, question. So you go to social media with intention, with some people that you would love to connect with or somebody that you think you could help them with a product or somebody that you would love to work with in your business. So you are intentional about who you're communicating with. You find something to compliment them on, and then ask them a question of some sort. Get into Messenger and do that. So there's 3 things to consider here if your content is not currently creating conversations for you. 1, evaluate your audience. And do you need to be doing a better job of building up your audience with people outside your family and friends and just building up your network generally? You should always be trying to build up your network. So that might be something that you could implement every day. Just bare minimum, do 1 friend request a day. It's better than none, okay? Or following people on Instagram. The second thing is evaluating your content. Like go back to your own content and think, what's in it for them? What's in it for my audience? I'm sharing a good tip here. Okay, great. I'm teaching them something. Awesome. I'm asking for their opinion. And those that like to give their opinion will give it to me. Great. What's in it for them? That you want to evaluate your own content and think what's in it for them. The very next post that you write, think, what's in it for my audience? What's in it for them? What am I sharing with them? Am I being helpful? Am I being entertaining? Am I asking them a question and asking them to engage? Like have a think about those things. And the third thing, while you're learning to create better content that will create the conversations, you need to kind of be realistic about the fact that you need to create the conversations yourself, but not just getting into people's inboxes and going, hi, how are you? Or How would you look at my business? People don't like that. People are too busy for that. Is getting into people's, messenger with strategically kind of networking and doing ICQ, intention, compliment, question. So when you get into somebody's inbox, and it doesn't have to be business related, could be that somebody's been on a holiday and you saw it in their stories or their social media. It's like, oh my gosh, that looks absolutely amazing where you've just been. Where was that exactly? And you start a conversation. You can't get customers and you can't get team builders in this industry unless you're a massive influencer without having any conversations, getting started with anybody. So if you're very, very quiet on your social media and you're not having any conversations with anybody, you really need to be looking at those three things: your audience and building it up, the quality of your content, and always thinking, what's in it for them? Am I even asking a question? Am I asking for engagement? Am I asking people to have a conversation with me? Like maybe some of you are just putting stuff out there and it's just a one-way street. It's just you to them, but there's no incentive for somebody to engage with you. There's no incentive for somebody to start a conversation. So have a think at the quality of your content, and remember that it doesn't have to be business related. And the third thing is if your content is not creating the conversations, because ideally, I'm sure any of you would love to post something on social media and it creates massive amounts of conversations. And you've got a massive problem with, I can't keep up with all these people that want to talk to me. Wouldn't that be awesome? But until that day that your content is creating an endless amount of conversations, you should proactively take responsibility for building your business and actively doing ICQ. So it could be 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day that you just implement ICQ. Okay? Intention, compliment, question, because it'll create conversation. And you never know where a conversation is going to lead to. It could be, I've had many of them where I get into a conversation with somebody, and then because you're talking to them and you show interest in them, they kind of, the rapport goes up and they go, oh, by the way, that stuff that you've been talking about, what is that? Or, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you about that stuff that you keep posting about. But unless you initiate the conversation in the first place, most people actually sit back. Most people are busy, they're leading their own lives, and they don't have time to necessarily actively reach out to you about what it is that you're doing, even though they might be slightly curious. But you can prompt that by just, 30 minutes a day for your business. Non-negotiable is that you friend request a few people or follow them on Instagram and you start a couple of conversations just because. But don't say, hi, how are you? It's a bugbear of mine. It's annoying. And I tell you, if you just get into my inbox and go, hi, how are you? You are at bottom of the list. But if you get into my inbox and say, oh my gosh, Helen, I just read your post where you got bitten by a European wasp twice in your mouth. That's crazy. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling any better? Which one am I going to respond to? Hi, how are you? Or, hi, Helen, I saw you got bitten by a European wasp twice in your mouth. Are you okay? Of course I'm going to respond. Because you've looked at my content, tick. You've shown interest in my world, my life. You've, in that case, you probably don't even need to give me a compliment, but it's like, oh, you poor thing, or like you're resonating with me, you're giving me you're sympathizing with me, and then you ask me a question. How are you feeling now? Are you okay? Like that must have been horrible. So it shows me that you've looked at my content, one. So you're showing up in my world. You've read a post of mine, tick. You've shown some interest in something that affected me, tick. And you've shown some care and concern and asked me a question. Now, that might not go anywhere, but it's building a rapport between you and me. And so that's just an example. Don't get all in my inbox, everybody, and message me about my issue from last weekend. But do you know what I mean as an example? And to those that have, thank you, by the way. But do you see what I mean? Like you can create conversations quite easily by just looking at what people are posting, showing some interest in their world. All anybody wants as a human is to be seen and heard. So when you actually compliment and get into people's inbox about things that are important to them rather than just, hi, how are you? It makes a massive difference in your connection with you and that person. It's like, oh, they care. Oh, they've noticed my post. Oh, they're caring and concerning about me. It also shows who's not. Then you might put something out there that you've been going through, and there's people that that have seen it and they don't care. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I would have thought they'd message me to see how I am. So it goes both ways. But be that person that not the one that doesn't care. Be that person that does care. Okay, we don't always want to be communicating with people about business. It is the human connection. This is just my motto to the core. Be a human before a marketer. Being a human before a marketer will get you the sales. Always having a marketing head, like a sales head, it wears quite thin and people will start looking at your posts. So don't, forget to put content in there that just engages and just think of when you post your next post, what's in it for them? What have I asked a question here? Have I asked for engagement? Like what's in it for my audience when I post this? If it's I did this, I did that, I went here and I went there and I did this, and that's all your post is about, that's not going to go very far. I might write something that I've experienced, but then I'll turn it into a little bit of a lesson or a point of view for other people to read, and take, so I'll always turn, even if I'm talking about me and something I've been through, I'll turn it into something that is in like a message for my audience. Does that make sense? So the 3 things that you want to check in with is your audience, how many people are there, the quality of people there. Perhaps you need to spend more time building that up. Secondly, evaluating your content. What's in it for them? Not what's in it for you regarding a customer sale or a team member or whatever. What's in it for them? That's what the angle that your content should come from. And the third thing is, if your content currently is not creating many conversations, maybe you should be a little bit more proactive in growing your business on social media and create some more conversations in just a strategic time block during the day, so it doesn't wear you out, it doesn't drag you down, and it feels good. And it feels good to have great conversations with other human beings, just because. And that may not lead to anything now, but maybe you have a sale on a product in 3 months' time, and that person saw it in your stories and they like you because you cared about them and you asked about their welfare and something that they were going through. And so they feel confident enough because they trust you to ask you a question about that thing because you showed them some care and concern and proactively started a conversation with them a few months earlier. Do you see how it all works? Like, it's about human relatability, and that doesn't have to be business. And I'll leave you with this. Don't get known on social media for what you sell. Get known on social media for what you help people with. So evaluate your content in that context. If you scan your content and it just very strongly portrays, what you sell, like, oh, okay, I can tell what she sells or he sells, versus, oh, that's really helpful. Oh, that must be how Helen helps people, etc. So again, don't get known on social media for what you sell. Get known on social media for how you help people. When you do that, your content will invariably, over time, create more conversations. Okay? I hope this was helpful. I hope that just gives you a little tip to go and action, to evaluate your content. Like, go and have a look at your last lot of posts and ask that question. What's in it for them in this post? Nothing. I need to up my game a little bit. Or, I haven't grown my network for like months. It's been at the same number, for the last 6 months. I need to actively sort of grow my network, or I need to get off my butt because my content isn't creating my conversations. I need to actively probably do a little bit of prospecting. And I know none of you want to do that, but your next customer and your next teammate are coming from a conversation with somebody. So build up the know, like, and trust with more people, but do it intentionally, do it with a compliment, and do it with a question. Okay? I hope that's helpful, and I will see you live tomorrow. Bye.